Today we're going to talk about the Zoom Podtrak P4. Enough about the intro. And yes, I've had this. Is this even a recorder or what? I don't even know how to classify this, but personally, I wouldn't call this a recorder because I see no recording option. I don't think this can be regarded as a recorder. If maybe you're talking about the Zoom H5, H6, yeah, sure, H4n, those are recorders, but I don't see this being a recorder. But I think I will call this more of an audio interface podcast type of equipment. Yeah, I've actually had this for a couple of minutes now. I think I actually shot a video with it. It's on this channel. I'll try to leave the link in the description if ever you want to see how it actually holds up. So yeah, with my few moments of experience by using this particular device, I think I can share my overall opinion and experience about it in case you want to get it currently, for whether being filmmaking, podcast, whatever it may be. I'm going to give a few advantages and disadvantages about it. So firstly, I think I'm going to have to start with the advantages. I think the first thing that I like about it will have to be the fact that it's not that heavy. All right, it's not heavier compared to the Zoom H6. So if you guys did watch my previous video, I spoke about having to buy these two recorders because I got a good offer for it, and holding both in my hands, you can actually feel the weight of the Zoom H6 compared to this one. So I think that happens to be an advantage because if ever you want to travel with this particular device, I don't think it will even weigh any amount of weight in your bag. So it's a good I like the fact that they have actually made it that way, which is very much awesome. And I mean, talking about the shape itself, it's kind of funny. It actually looks like a shaving machine. You can actually shave with this. It's got a funny shape, man. I don't even know why they actually made it like this, but I think they actually made it this way so it can accommodate the four how do you call it, XLR ports. So if you guys can see here, it's got this 4 ports here, but it's kind of funny if you get to think about it because they actually made the Zoom H6 for XLR without having to put a funny shape on it. So why is this actually? But anyway, we're still sticking to advantages, so let me be on track here. The USB type C. Okay, when I was buying it, I was a bit curious because I was like, okay, what input is this actually going to use? Because most of Zoom's recorders do use the previous pin. I think that is type B or type, I'm not sure if that's type B or type A. So with this one coming with a type C, I actually love that because these days everything we use these days is actually type C. Well, for me, most of the things I use, it's actually type C. So I actually love the fact that they managed to include the type C option, which is very nice. Even the GH6, why am I saying GH6? I'm so used to Panasonic, man. Even the Zoom H6 does not have the type C option. I've actually owned a couple of Zoom devices. I've had the Zoom H5 as well, and the Zoom H5 does not have a type C as well. The Zoom H6 does not also have a type C. So this particular one coming in with a type C, I think I actually love that they included that option. But I think I also understand because this is actually recent than the Zoom H6. So I think it's quite understandable. Maybe if they even happen to release the new recorder currently, I believe it's still going to be a type C option. So yeah, it's kind of understandable. Another thing that I actually love about this, which I think you also love if ever you want to consider this particular audio interface in today's standard, that will have to be with the memory card slot. So initially when I was also getting this particular recorder, I actually thought it uses the micro SD, the smaller type. Most of the reviews on YouTube did not actually state the type of SD that it uses. They just say it uses a memory card, but then they did not state what type of memory card it uses. So I was a bit curious. I actually thought it uses the smaller one, but yeah, Zoom being so great, it uses the bigger one, which is kind of an advantage because the small ones, it's not really ideal, especially for such professional device. If I have to take this on a field, it's not gonna be really ideal for me to be pulling small card out and all that. Those things they normally get they get misplaced easily. That will have to be some of the amazing part about this particular audio interface. There's actually more, which I think we're going to take it slow, bit by bit, and I'll try to be as fair as possible without having to take sides and all that. So another thing that I actually love about it will have to be the fact that they included a headphone jack for this particular recorder. I don't know, interface or recorder, whatever, man. If you guys can see the bottom here, if you guys can check here, there is 4 ports here, and this actually helps because if ever I'm hosting a podcast or maybe anything that got to do with different guests on my show and all that, more than 2, 3, 4, which is the maximum, everybody can monitor his or her audio. So like what I'm doing now, I can basically hear myself. I can hear what I'm saying. And if ever my audio stop recording or something happens, I will definitely know that there's a problem which I need to stop and check what is happening. So I like the fact that each and every person will be able to monitor, his or her audio whilst we are on air. So it's actually nice because you will know when something goes wrong, or I like that fact. Most of the recorders, most of the interface actually give you one, which only one person will be able to listen. So it's kind of weird because there will be only one person listening to, multiple people, which is not really ideal. Everybody needs to hear his or her own voice. It's kind of nice. I actually love that. There's quite a few disadvantages, and I think that will actually make me sell this particular device, even though I don't want to. But I think the few disadvantages will actually make me sell this particular. Actually, I'm planning to sell it, honestly. And calm down. I'm only selling it because I do have multiple recorders. So right now I'm recording through a Zoom H6, and I also have this one at hand now. So I have 2 devices here, which I'm not using both of them. I only need one. So yeah, maybe if you are watching this and you're interested, hit me up. Comment down below. Reach me out, Instagram, wherever, and let's talk business. I don't even know how much I'm gonna sell this for. I need to do my calculations and put the price out there. So yeah, getting into the disadvantages. Look, this particular device is an amazing device, all right? I think my main problem here will have to be the sound. I need to actually get the sound right, because I've used different recorders, I've used different interface, and mostly the first attempt, all right, normally when I put the XLR in and start to record, the first attempt is supposed to blow me away, yeah, like the Zoom H6 that I'm currently recording at. I did not actually do much, yeah, I did not actually do much on this particular recorder. When I bought it, I just inserted the XLR, plug a headphone, and boom, no settings were tuned, nothing really crazy was done, even though I can do that. Coming from the Zoom H6 and other recorders that I've used and how they've actually treated me, I was actually expecting this particular one to also handle everything similar to the previous one, because they are the same company, Zoom, which they normally do amazing recorders for filmmakers and all that. With this particular recorder, the first time that I actually plugged everything, I actually made a video. I placed it on this channel, so you guys can check it out if ever you want to hear how it sounds. And I wasn't really happy with the sound. I think something wasn't really right. There was this distortion sound which you will have to maybe use a headphone to hear that. There's this background noise which I normally pick when I'm recording. I think I've actually noticed that several times, but now I don't know what the exact problem is, whether it is the device itself or it's my gear, which I don't think it is my gear, because when I use the same equipment to the H6, they don't give me such issues. So I don't know what is actually happening, but then I think I need to tweak some settings or do something to get a great sound out of it, just like the Zoom H6. Right now I'm recording through the Zoom H6, like I said, and there isn't much that has been done here, but you can hear the sound is really amazing, and there isn't much of noise, distortions and all that. But with this particular one, you will hear a bit of noise, which becomes a problem. I don't know why that is the case, but I've picked that up a couple of times, which it's really annoying to think about. So I mean, I've seen a couple of videos and I've seen how this responds, but I'm not sure what the problem is. But I'm also suspecting maybe it could be the fact that they did not include a line out for this particular device. Here's the thing, okay? Most of the recorders these days, or even previous recorders, when they make them, they add a line out input where we should be able to put a 3.5 millimeter jack to feed an audio into the camera. So what that simply does is I don't have to record a separate audio on its own. In that case, when I have this device, I should be able to plug a 3.5 millimeter jack straight into my camera and feed an audio to it, like what I'm currently doing now. So the Zoom H6, let me try and show you from the Zoom H6. I just hope I don't mess up my audio. This is the Zoom H6. I'm not sure if you guys can see it. This is the XLR cable going directly into the microphone, and this is the power source, and this white and black one here is the one that is actually feeding audio straight into my camera. With this exact one here, with this P4, you do get the XLR, which is going to plug directly into this, and you do get how do you call it, power bank or an outlet, which is the USB type C. It's got a DC 5 volts here, so it should be fine. You can use a power bank or even an outlet, but then you do not get any line out. You don't have any line out option, so it becomes a problem whenever you want to do this type of videos. Sometimes we don't want to record separately and sync audios and all that. The hack behind this, I'm not sure if this is an approved way of how they actually want us to use it, but I've seen a couple of videos on the channel. Not even a couple, I think a single video. There's a guy who made one video on YouTube explaining that there isn't anything else, I think, about this particular audio interface. So there is no line out, and you are unable to feed a direct 3.5 millimeter jack to the camera to get your audio. So it's either you use one of the headphone jack. Let's say if I connect my XLR here, in order to get the audio through to the camera, you need to use the first 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. So this is assigned for the headphones, not for the line out. So I think that can also contribute to the problems that I'm having, because it's not really assigned for it to play as a line out a port. So now I'm using the headphone port as a line out port, which I believe that could be the reason why my audio is not really clean. Maybe I might be wrong. If you are watching this and maybe you have any idea, let me know, because I'm not really sure what is actually happening. Maybe I might be wrong about it. I don't know. So that is the problem I'm actually facing here. So it's either you record straight through the headphone port, or you record separately and sync it in post, which I don't want to do. I hate syncing audios. I normally prefer to work directly. So as I'm talking, the audio is going straight into the camera. I don't need to do much. Even if I would do something in post, maybe to adjust the gains, add a bit of bass and all that. But with the Zoom H6, everything is fine. I don't even need to do anything. I like what I'm actually hearing right now, so I don't need to do much. So that happens to be the problem, the major problem I'm actually facing with this particular device. That is the biggest problem among all of them. So I think the first time I recorded, there was a bit of, noise that I was picking. It wasn't that of a big deal, but I was getting some noise, and it became a problem, because I need a perfect audio. I need a clean audio. Even if it's not perfect, it must be close to perfect. So getting that little sound was a problem to me, and I don't know why Zoom decided not to put that particular input there. I don't understand, because you guys made this particular device for podcasters, and trust me, most of the podcasters use camera as well, and they need to feed audio through to their camera. So why did you guys not include that? Why is it out? How do you guys want us to feed audio to the camera? I don't get it. So using this headphone ports, I think that might be the issue. That might be the reason why you will not get a clean audio out of it, because you are not actually taking a clean audio out, you are taking a headphone audio to the camera. Yeah, I think that is actually the major issue. There is more, which are, I think, really minor, but the major one is the issue of the pod. And let me head straight to the other one, which is the fact that the screen is not really big. Yeah, it's not that of a big deal. I mean, there is a screen, but it's not really as big as the Zoom H5, the Zoom H6, and other recorders that I've used. I think even the Testcam got a bigger screen. The Testcam GR60 Mark II, I think it's even got a bigger screen than this. It is there. It's not a color display. There's more to love about this than to hate. But for me, I feel like the issue of the line out is a major problem to me. Yeah, I think that is the main reason why I will actually choose the Zoom H6 over this particular one. I didn't really wanted to talk more about specification because I believe there are a whole bunch of videos on this platform talking about the specs of this particular unit. But if ever you want me to hit on a few things, it uses a Type-C. It does record audio. If you put your microphones and all that, you do not get any internal built-in microphone that you can record straight away. You need to insert some, devices to get that. It does have a few customization buttons where you can be able to assign some keys. If ever you are hosting a podcast, you can press the button. Maybe if someone answers a question and the person is correct, you can click on some buttons to get some clapping effects. You can do some woo effects. You can, there's a whole lot of customizations that you can actually do here. Not really that crazy, but there's some nice things here that podcasters will actually love. You also have the ability to mute each and every person. So there's 4 ports here. So if ever you have occupied all the 4, you can mute, unmute. You can also take in calls, which I'm sure you guys do know. That is the main strength of this particular device. You can take in calls just by using this port here. There is a Bluetooth device you can buy, or you can use a special, 3.5 millimeter to get the audio in, answer calls, and do all those nicer things that podcasters normally do. It is a nicer device, and I think before I end this, maybe I should connect my cables, which I'm currently using on the Zoom H6 here, so you guys will be able to hear how it sounds. Maybe by any chance, luckily, I'm not sure, the sound might change. Maybe I might not hear the little noise that I'm talking about. Maybe, I don't know. But let me quickly switch to this particular device so you guys will hear how it performs compared to the Zoom H6. So let's just jump to that. Okay, all right. So I think I'm picking. So guys, let me know if right now I'm unable to use the headphone, so I cannot hear what I'm saying. I don't know if this sound is even overkill. I don't know how it actually sounds, because with the the P4, you do not get any headphone jack if ever you are using the ports directly into the camera. So where I'm supposed to use the headphone jack is where I've actually used the cable to the camera. This is the cable. Yeah, so it's going straight into the camera. So let me know how it actually sounds. I think from what I'm seeing, well, it's the device is saying that I'm picking correctly. So I don't know what it actually sounds like, but if you're watching this, let me know how it sounds from the first one, which was the Zoom H6, to the P4 right now, which you are hearing. So let me know how it sounds, and let me know your thoughts as well. If ever you are using any of these devices, if ever you want to get this device as well in today's standard, I think it's a device. Honestly, I think it does work. It functions fine. The problems are what are actually listed. So if it does not bother you and you don't have any issues with that, then this is a great device to own. If ever you want to pick it in today's standard, is to go for it. Currently, with the price that it sells, I don't think we can actually complain that much. So It is a nice device. If you want to pick it in today's standard, go for it. If you're a podcaster, perfect. If you are a sound design, I would say look for something else. If you're someone that normally designs sounds or something, I would say maybe go for the Zoom H6, H5, H4n, Testcam, X8, all those nicer ones. I mean, those better ones. Go for those ones. This is not good for sound designing. I mean, if you are someone that a DJ, filmmaker, it's really you can actually consider that somehow. But if you're a podcaster, this is a perfect solid device for an affordable price. And I think the only downside will have to be if ever you're a sound design, then I think this is not a great device for you. For the fact that it does not have any built-in microphones and all that. Right now, as I'm talking, I can just hit a single button and my voice will be muted. So let me mute myself. 1, 2, 3, and so I believe you guys cannot even hear me. Or can you hear me? I'm not even sure what is happening here. So I don't know if you guys can still hear me, but I've actually hit on the wrong button. So I actually hit, what was that? I don't know what I pressed, but there's two switch buttons, which I don't even know what it does. But to mute, you just need to press this. Yeah, that is how you actually mute yourself. So there's just a single button to mute yourself and unmute for each and every person, which I kind of like. So let me know your overall conclusion. I think this is actually getting longer. So thanks for coming. If you are new on the channel, hit on the subscribe button, like this video as well. I mean, do all the clickings. It really helps me a lot. And I guess I'll catch you guys in the next video. Stay safe. Peace. Today we're going to talk about the Podtrak Zoom P4 recorder. Wait, this is not a recorder, fuck.